Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for attending today's session. I do hope that you learned something new and find it valuable. Firstly, some quick housekeeping. So if you'd like to turn on live captions, then there's instructions on the screen of how to do so. We are recording the session today, and we will be sharing that with anyone who has registered, so keep an eye out for that in the next few days if you'd like to rewatch anything or share with a colleague. We've currently got everybody muted and cameras off just due to the volume of registrations, but if we have time at the end during Q&A, if you pop your hand up, we will allow individuals to come off mute. That being said, these sessions do work well when we have that two-way dialogue, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to pop them in the chat and Megan will be keeping an eye on that throughout. I'll put everyone's contact details on the slide at the end as well. We'd love to hear from you afterwards, so please reach out. Before I introduce everyone, I'm going to run a very quick poll. So just looking to get an understanding of what level of Copilot awareness you feel that you have. So we've all seen the LinkedIn posts, maybe dozens, hundreds, thousands of times this year. I know I have, but do you feel like you have an understanding of what it does or what it should do? Have you seen a few demos, a few videos, and are looking to understand more, or perhaps you've already purchased some licenses and looking to understand how to adopt it successfully? While we're doing that, here are your presenters for today. So my name's Lindsay Clemson. I'm the Strategic Partner Manager for HTG, or Howell Technology Group. I've been in the industry for 11 years now, and I joined HTG about 6 months ago. We're a Microsoft Fast Track Ready partner, and that means that we're recognised for being in the top 1% of partners performing globally, with a track record of success across modern work and security, although you can see from our accreditations on the screen that we also cover other areas as well. We're founded and headquartered in the Northeast, but we have our customers throughout the UK and Ireland, including Clarion House and Draeger, who may be on today's call, The Works and Gateshead Council as well. We've got the lovely Emily Cassell with us from Microsoft today. She's going to start us off with some insight into the current landscape from a Microsoft perspective. Myself and Harminder are then going to go through some hopefully relatable scenarios of where Copilot can drive efficiency specifically within the manufacturing industry. And then Dave's going to round us off with some thoughts around making sure that your environment is in a state that's both structured and secure to put you in a stronger position for a Copilot rollout. So this slide here is twofold. The content on it is entirely relevant for today, and hopefully, some of the challenges there will resonate with you. However, I will admit that I had Copilot create this slide for me just in the last week or so. I saved a web page as a PDF and fed that to Copilot. It produced a summarised list of the 5 challenges that were found in the study. And then I fed that into PowerPoint for Copilot to produce a slide. So we will do a demo later on in today's session, but really simple use case of just how quick Copilot can be. Megan, have we got the results of the poll there?
Yes, so 45% have heard of it but don't have any knowledge of the function. 18% have seen demo, and 36% have purchased licenses.
Fab. Okay. Well, we have a lot to get through today, so I'm going to pass over to Emily to get us started.
Brilliant. Thanks, Lindsay. Hi guys. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Emily Cassell. I am a security specialist here at Microsoft. Been with Microsoft since about December 2022, but have probably been in the cybersecurity industry now for the last 7 or 8 years. So here really to talk around kind of M365 Copilot, some of the associated risks that we need to kind of consider as well. I think we've all undoubtedly noticed the speed in technology, innovation and adoption around generative AI is kind of unprecedented. So when ChatGPT was introduced in November 2022, it was a breakthrough in text prediction. I think it attracted over 100 million users in its first 3 months. I guess really to put that into perspective, it took mobile phones 16 years to reach 100 million users, and it took the internet globally more than 7 years to reach the number. It really makes kind of ChatGPT among the fastest examples of consumer adoption in history. So generative AI, such as Microsoft Copilot, really refers to a class of artificial intelligence systems that are really designed to generate new original content rather than simply responding to or processing input data. Models of generative AI, typically built on deep learning architectures, undergo training on extensive data sets, enabling them to generate contextually relevant content that is often indistinguishable from human content, human created material, but like how Lindsay said at the start with the slide deck. And yeah, as a result, generative AI has the potential to enhance creativity and productivity, so elevating a user's skills. But as I said, it's also generated a substantial amount of data at a rapid pace. Consequently, obviously, whilst offering a lot of notable benefits, there are associated risks that we must consider. If you could go to the next slide, please, Lindsay. I just wanted to put this here, as this is really a quick check on some of the recent headlines highlighting really how AI is driving that rapid innovation in the manufacturing sector. As manufacturers kind of explore how to implement AI in their business and operations, they're quickly finding ways to then apply it as solutions to top the challenges facing modern manufacturing that we see today. If we move on to the next slide. So yeah, as I said, I guess manufacturers really face increased global competition. I'm sure all of you are aware around supply chain disruptions and sustainability demands. You can really harness the latest AI technologies to address some of these challenges and transform your operations. So a lot of the customers that I speak to within the manufacturing sector have really used it to accelerate the product design life cycle, to scale intelligent factories, maybe with automated scheduling, and train workers with that conversational AI. Some of the key use cases that you can see on the screen where AI have had a high impact in the manufacturing industry are around building a more agile factory. So creating a safe, secure and agile factory of the future by integrating your IT, your OT and your industrial IoT. AI in the manufacturing kind of analyzes that historical production data and equipment telemetry to identify problems maybe before they even occur. We're also looking at using AI to assist frontline workers, maybe with some troubleshooting issues on the factory floor, so they can proactively detect some of those anomalies. And it can also simplify the creation of those standard operating procedure checklists with generative AI that uses a company's knowledge base. Another one is around accelerating manufacturing operations. So combining automation with AI's ability to learn from data, a lot of our customers can achieve those faster production cycles and to boost profit margins as well. And we're able to check the feasibility of process enhancements by conducting analyses of resources with just a simple request to their AI Copilot. And you'll now be able to automate quality controls to meet those output goals. Another one is around a more resilient supply chain. So a lot of manufacturers that I speak to are gaining kind of greater visibility into supply chain operations with those AI tools that, like I said, can detect potential disruptions and then also flag processes that could be more efficient for them to use. And finally, obviously, as we know, it's going to look to transform your workforce. So AI is transforming the way in which we work. Manufacturers are able to save a lot of time by using AI to maybe draft emails to customers, soliciting feedback for continuous improvement. Also, when brainstorming ideas for new products, a lot of teams can apply AI tools to summarize the research and meeting notes. And then as well, product engineers are being able to create digital twins using AI to really reduce the need for physical prototypes. So businesses are really going to be able to introduce those groundbreaking products and services that can help drive that business growth. And then if we move on, I guess, as mentioned before, obviously why AI offers a notable amount of benefits, there are a lot of risks that must be considered as part of this. I think one of the top concerns we see when managing the data risks generated by AI apps is just that lack of visibility. So with a lack of control to maybe detect and mitigate risks, we've really noted that a lack of visibility into the usage of AI applications, including maybe information on which the apps are being used, who are the users that are using these AI apps, and also the type of data that's being shared with and generated by the apps. So that insufficient visibility into usage can give rise to security compliance challenges, potentially leading to incidents such as, like I said, a data leak that you can see on the screen. So users may inadvertently disclose sensitive data, maybe such as customers' personal data, to the AI apps like ChatGPT. And this really is a concern that's prevalent maybe in some of the headlines, and it's echoed by a lot of our organizations. Another challenge that you can see on the screen is that lack of control to protect the data shared in AI. So how do the security teams ensure that any sensitive data being exchanged between the user and the app is protected. Users might attempt to access sensitive information, maybe such as confidential projects or personal data, through these AI apps like Copilot. But without actually having appropriate data security controls, these AI apps can gain access to summarize or create content based on that sensitive data. And that's what's going to increase that risk of data overexposure or oversharing. And then finally, I guess with the rapid adoption of AI in business workflows, it's really going to be important for security teams to remain compliant and keep up with the new regulations that come with that data protection. So with the ease of content creation using generative AI, users can effortlessly obviously generate new content. But that could include kind of unethical or high risk content, maybe such as fake news, fraudulent content, or stock manipulation as well. So it really is imperative for organizations to govern the usage of AI apps, ensuring compliance with codes of conduct and those regulatory requirements. So yeah, to tackle security compliance concerns related to generative AI, it really is crucial to grasp this shared responsibility model. So before I pass back over to the HTG guys, I just wanted to highlight this model and how it kind of delineates the shared responsibilities between the service provider, such as Microsoft, and also the organization utilizing the tools, so with our customers. So whilst Microsoft assumes the majority of the responsibility for the application and infrastructure controls around M365 Copilot, it really is down to each organization to have responsibility on the AI usage. So from the Microsoft side, we've built in those foundational security controls to make Microsoft Copilot enterprise ready. And Microsoft also has strict access controls on customer data. So your data is your data. I think I get a lot of questions about this on how we're processing your data, but it won't be shared with any other tenants. And all the data is encrypted and protected by industry standards. On the other hand, organizations do, like I said, have a responsibility to configure access controls to determine who has access to Copilot and also how to block risky access. So you'll need to protect and govern data entered and created by the AI applications. And as you embark on your AI journey and seek to reap the benefits of AI adoption, it's important to consider how you can mitigate the risks to data security that AI can essentially pose. And this is essentially where Microsoft can help. So I appreciate some customers on the call might be M365 E3 users or M365 E5. And part of that E5 stack is where we have Microsoft Purview. And that is essentially a comprehensive set of solutions that are built on a set of shared industry-leading AI-powered classification, data mapping, extensive audit logging technologies, and a shared unified management experience. As a result, the solutions seamlessly integrate with each other, aiding organizations in protecting the data and mitigating the risks with lower complexity and better outcomes across essentially your entire digital estate. So with these Microsoft Purview solutions, you can extend comprehensive data security and compliance capabilities to AI. You can protect and govern your entire data estate and get better and faster outcomes with an integrated and simplified set of solutions. So yeah, I'm going to pass back over to the HTG guys. Lindsay, I think I'll pass back to yourself.
Thanks, Emily. We've got Harminder up next.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Emily. That's some really great insight you showed us there. So we've never experienced diffusion at this scale in the tech industry. The growth curve Emily showed in the first slide is no longer just a gentle slope or even a steep slope. In fact, you can no longer even call it a curve, it's a vertical line. Running a manufacturing organization involves various repetitive tasks that could benefit from streamlining or automation. By automating these tasks, you can free up staff time to focus on more meaningful and impactful work. Imagine being able to generate slick quality control or cost analysis reports and analytics without spending hours hunched over a spreadsheet or automatically responding to FAQs via email. So a recent Work Trend Index report tells us that 64% of employees don't have enough time and energy to do their job. And employees lacking time and energy to do their job are 3.5 times more likely to struggle with innovation or strategic thinking. So employees are starting to embrace the idea of using AI to support their work. In fact, 70% of employees are open to delegating some of their work to AI to lessen their workloads. And while for many, AI-related job loss is top of mind, the data also shows that managers are looking to leverage AI to empower people, not replace them. So a recent study found out that 87% of leaders believe AI will give the organization a competitive edge. The question every leader is asking themselves right now is, How will your organization seize the full potential of AI and take advantage of this inflection point, all while safeguarding your business, your data, and your employees? More importantly, for the manufacturing sector, what will it do for your frontline workers, your supply chain, and how can it reduce the sales cycle? Thank you. So Microsoft launched Copilot for Microsoft 365 in November 2023 for customers on with enterprise agreement and for those willing to purchase a minimum of 300 licenses. In January, it was announced that these prerequisites would be removed, and today Copilot for M365 is generally available to customers. It's $30 per user per month. That's around £285 for an annual subscription, and you have to pay annually upfront. It's hefty investment. So what does it do? We've been having conversations with customers over the last 9 months or so, and there's definitely a lot of hype, but sometimes confusion about exactly what Copilot will and won't do. Is it worth the investment? Which team should I give it to first? Will it make certain job roles obsolete? Having seen it in action myself, the best way to describe it is that it works alongside you to supplement the work that you and your team do. It's a massive time saver, embedded in the core Microsoft apps millions of people use every day. Employees and teams can leverage Copilot to help them to do tasks like summarize long PDFs, draft emails more efficiently, and get answers to complex questions with data from several sources. I've been in the industry now for around 20 years, and the term garbage in, garbage out has never been more prominent. We'll talk in detail later about making sure your data is well structured and secure, but there's also a level of user adoption in using Copilot. Have a think about what you're asking Copilot. Remember to use clear and specific language. So instead of asking, how do I write a good email? You can ask, how do I write a short and formal email requesting a meeting with a prospective client? The more information you provide, the better Copilot can tailor a response to your needs. You can provide the purpose, audience, tone, and format of your document, as well as any relevant details or examples. You can also attach or link any existing documents or sources that you want Copilot to refer to. Let's jump straight into a few use cases and scenarios where it could help you or someone in your organization. The first example I have here is a run through of the day of the life of an IT manager. And while many of these tasks may overlap with what those of IT managers in non-manufacturing companies, the emphasis on supporting production systems, integrating manufacturing technologies, and then on top of that, ensuring compliance with industry regulations sets the priorities of an IT manager in a manufacturing company apart from those in other industries. The criticality of maintaining uninterrupted operations on the production floor can place a higher emphasis on factors such as reliability, scalability, and redundancy in IT infrastructure and systems. So let's take a look at Hillary here. She's an IT manager at Contoso, our fictitious manufacturing company, for the purpose of today's call. She starts her morning routine by checking emails, chat messages, and tickets that have come in overnight for any urgent issues or requests. She asks Copilot to prioritize tasks based on their importance and how they're going to impact daily operations. Then she asks Copilot in Outlook to draft replies for each. She attends the daily stand-up to discuss priorities for a team for the day, and during the meeting, they'll go off on a couple of tangents. So Hillary uses Copilot in Teams to ask if there are any unanswered questions that they need to circle back to. Next, Hillary starts to work on the project plan for the Windows 11 upgrade plan for later in the year. She asks Copilot to create a project plan based on a previous project plan that the IT department has used and product documentation for Windows 11. As I mentioned earlier, Copilot isn't there to replace Hillary, and the document it produces is very unlikely to be perfect, but it should be a great starting point for her to build on. Manufacturing industries are undergoing significant transformations due to advancements in technologies with Copilot. And while these technologies offer opportunities for improved efficiency and innovation, you may need to provide additional training for frontline workers who are often less tech savvy. Hillary needs to provide additional support documentation to knowledge workers who are being trained on quality control. After lunch, she asks Copilot to summarize the 5 most frequently raised IT tickets and create a slide deck based on the resolutions for each. She gets pulled in unexpectedly by one of her team to assist troubleshooting a server issue and misses a Teams meeting as a result. When she returns, she checks the recap that Copilot has produced and asks for the key points and actions from the meeting. So at the end of the day, Hillary has set aside some time to research new devices as part of the Windows 11 rollout. She asks Copilot to produce a report on the best laptops for management staff in manufacturing companies. Thanks, Lindsay. I'll pass it back over.
Thanks, H. So blank slide here, because this one's going to focus on marketing. So manufacturing companies face competition, both domestic and international rivals. In an increasingly globalised marketplace, companies must continually strive to improve quality, to reduce costs, and differentiate their products in order to maintain market share and profitability. Marketing is integral to the success of this, as it enables your company to understand your customers, to promote your products, and ultimately drive sales and revenue. So what if you could empower your marketing team with Copilot to create that compelling content in a shorter time period? So things like social media posts, blog articles, or email newsletters. Ensuring that the content aligns with the brand and the messaging, but also effectively communicating the USP of your product. So asking Copilot something like, create a series of 12 LinkedIn posts based on this product specification and this marketing plan, linking to both of your documents. From there, go on to monitor the performance of that campaign, tracking key metrics such as website traffic or cost per acquisition, analysing the data, and then most importantly, making data-driven decisions to optimise future campaigns. In terms of creating content, I know that I personally just work so much better when I've got something to start with and I'm not just sitting staring at a blank document. So let's take a look at David here. He is the marketing manager for Contoso Manufacturing, and he starts his day focused on a new advertising campaign. He uses a prompt in Copilot that reads, prepare a 500-word brief outlining the advertising strategy from Contoso marketing plan, linking to his document. He asks Copilot to include sections on the target market, pricing, tone, imagery, and taglines. So this is a really good example of a strong prompt that H mentioned a minute ago, because it includes a goal, it's got some context, he's linked to a source, and he's also setting expectations in terms of the number of words that he wants the brief to be. David might realise after reading the brief that actually it needs to be longer, and he can ask Copilot to refine that and update it to be 800 words, specifically asking it to add in some more detail about the target market section. Once he's happy with that, David has a meeting with his team to brainstorm some ideas for a new slogan for the campaign. He asks Copilot to categorise the ideas on whiteboard so that it's easier for him and his team to visualise. Then he uses Copilot in Excel to generate some charts using survey data to see any trends, and he plans to present that back to management the following day. After lunch, David's got a Teams meeting with his manager, and they're discussing the upcoming key events for that calendar year. He asks Copilot and Teams to create a table to categorise those events discussed so far in order of priority, and then straight after the meeting he's able to take that table and feed it into Copilot in PowerPoint, and ask Copilot to update his deck to reflect that list. And finally, David's got some email to catch up on at the end of the day, as we all do, and he asked Copilot to speed that word up by summarising email threads and drafting some responses. Now, we've mentioned a few times Copilot is not perfect, and David cannot, ask it to create a marketing brief and send that off without checking it, without amending it. But having 500 words or 800 words or 8,000 words as a starting point and being able to chop and change that, it's a massive time saver. So we've got 6 tasks on the screen there, and if we've saved David even 5 minutes on each of those, then we've given David 30 minutes back of his day, and you can quite quickly see how that can start to add up within an organisation and save time and money. So that's just 2 personas that we've looked at in detail. The use cases can obviously vary from department to department. A couple of conversations that I've been having with customers over the last couple of months include, recruitment teams that can create job specifications in half the time, and then having Copilot suggest a set of interview questions to reflect that job specification. As well as, customer services teams creating feedback forms in half the time. So now probably the time that many of you have signed up for. I didn't want to leave myself at the mercy of the demo gods, especially as depending on what we ask Copilot to do, it can sometimes take a couple of minutes to produce the documents. So we've got a recording to go through today. There's a couple of examples that myself and H have outlined, and a couple of others as well. I did record this demo just in the last week in the HTG production environment, so it's definitely a real life experience. Can everybody see that video? Can I just get a quick, somebody from the HTG team, let me know?
Yep, we can see that.
Smashing. So for anyone who's not seen Copilot before, just a very quick overview. You can access it from within the web browser, which I am in today. It just makes it a little bit easier for a demo to be jumping about different applications, but you can also access it within the Pro Plus downloads of, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. This view here, I'm just in the Microsoft 365 homepage of the web browser, and if I click start, there we go. You can see Microsoft365.com, and it's just on that left-hand rail there. On this view, there are a number of prompts. There's a full prompt library as well, just to help you get started. And in here, you can also view that library by category, and you can save your own prompts as well. It's a very similar view within Teams, so it surfaces itself as a Teams chat. And for the first demo, I have a pre-populated document here. It's the Thunderbolt e-bike product specification document. It's quite a comprehensive document. It's 7 pages long, 1,500 words, and it's got a number of different sections in there. The only thing that it is missing is the introduction. So you can see just up in the top right-hand corner there, you've got Copilot on the ribbon. That's the same throughout all of the apps. But you also have this Copilot icon here, specifically within Word, which will follow you around wherever you click in the document. So in this introduction section, I'm going to ask Copilot to summarise this document in a short paragraph. And it just takes a couple of seconds. This part of the video is not edited in any way. It's a short paragraph, and it does just take a couple of seconds there. And I can choose to keep that. I can ask it to regenerate, or I can ask it to refine, whether that's make it longer, make it shorter, make it more formal. From here, I'm going to jump into Teams and ask Copilot to write an email to my team announcing that new product launch, so the Thunderbolt e-bike. I want to thank everyone and be clear how much effort was put into this. Again, this part of the video is not edited, so this is all in real time. It just takes a couple of minutes to review the document, and you can see it also suggests some further prompts if I want to add some more details about the document, etc. So from there, I'm going to jump into a blank Word document. And I'm going to ask Copilot to create me 4 informal Facebook posts about that Thunderbolt e-bike. Each post should be a maximum of 200 words. And you can see straight away it's picked up that the document that I am referring to has a sensitivity label applied to it. So it's just reading through, and you'll see it starting to type those Facebook posts. And straight away, we've got that banner up at the top there, just showing that the new document that's been created has automatically been applied with that sensitivity label to mirror the document that we were reading from. And then lastly for Word, I'm just going to use the example that we described earlier, create a project plan for Windows 11. The context I'm given is that we have 500 users. We are currently on Windows XP, and see what Copilot comes up with. I've given it a series of the headers that I'd like to be in the document. And if you had a previous project plan, if you had a template, anything like that, you can reference that to just make it a little bit more tailored. This one here we have chopped a minute or two out of, but it produces a 10-page document, 2,000 words, so brilliant starting point just for saving some time. Jumping into PowerPoint again, I'm going to ask Copilot to create a deck from scratch. So I'm going to ask it to create a presentation based on the top 5 accessibility features that are part of an M365 license. So just a topic that I'm particularly passionate about. And we'll see what it comes up with. So there we've got 5 slides. We've got animations. We have, contextual images and also notes within the PowerPoint. And, if you feed that into your corporate template, you're going to have a branded version as well. The only thing it's not got is a slide about the Windows color filters feature, which is available in Windows 10 and Windows 11. So I'm just going to ask Copilot to add a slide about that, making sure that it includes how a user would access those settings. Fab. And then last up for today's demo, I'm going to jump into Microsoft Forms. So again, there's a library of prompts in here, but I'm going to ask Copilot to create me a health and safety checklist specifically for somebody working on the production floor of a food manufacturing company. And I've specified that I'd like there to be 12 questions. See there, it was quite quick. I'm asking it to regenerate just to see if it comes up with anything different. And, if you have any previous versions, if you have policy documentations, regulations that you have to adhere to, if you have Copilot reference them, it's going to be very specific to what you're looking for. Lastly, I'm just going to ask Copilot to add 2 questions about mental health. And then you can see that it actually goes away and creates that form. Then it's also going to suggest some additional themes. So have a quick flick through those. Probably decide that neither of those are appropriate for a health and safety checklist. So just stick to that initial one. But I think that creation of the form and the time saving in that alone, whether or not Copilot's going to come up with the questions. I've seen another example of somebody feeding, copying and pasting the 20 questions that they want into forms, and then it creates the form for you rather than having to drag and drop yes, no answers or rate this out of 5. It just kind of chops that time in half. So I hope that's given you a flavour of the capabilities of Copilot and potentially where it might add value to somebody in your team or your organisation. I'm going to hand over to Dave now, who's going to go through a little bit more about how we advise our customers in terms of Copilot readiness.
Cool. Thanks for that, Lindsay. Okay, first slide. I'm going to leave this graphic cheese wheel on the screen for a while, and I'll come back to it. So great content so far today, great demo. I'm going to start with a statement from a recent Microsoft research paper. During that research, Microsoft discovered that out of 500 decision makers working on digital transformation initiatives in discrete, hybrid, or process manufacturing, 8 out of 10 of the people asked said they were dealing with skills gaps, particularly in data science, AI, and cybersecurity. So if you think back to Emily's slide at the start of the presentation, citing ChatGPT hitting 100 million users in just 2 to 3 months, it does seem rational to suggest that AI technology itself could help us identify the skill gaps that we've mentioned already. So we need to couple that with the voices that we're hearing from within the industry that state that there's a need to move cautiously, and of course we've talked about the security elements that we need to take into consideration already today. So look, in my role as Sales and Marketing Director at HTG, as you'd expect, I need to ensure that our messaging is on point in regards to the products that we carry and the services that we deliver. I'm personally motivated to ensure the quality of our end-to-end customer engagement is always high, and that we manage the expectations of any of our customers in the project planning phase of the project. That means calling out risks, aggravating factors before we actually engage on any project deliverable. So why have I started with a note of caution? Well, I guess as we've heard already today, Microsoft marketing team have done a sterling job in driving the interest for Copilot, and businesses and organizations are rightly interested. And as a user of Copilot, I can personally attest to the benefits and efficiencies that it can bring to any departmental or organizational task. However, we always have to give a balanced view. And as a senior leader, I spend an inordinate amount of time in discussion with customers, stakeholders who ask the traditional security questions that are faced by all businesses. Questions such as, how do I know my data is secure? Is it accessible? And most importantly, who is it accessible by? So I guess we have to remember that the advent of Copilot does not remove the need for an organization to address these questions. And those questions must be appropriate to the organization. In many cases, I find that businesses are not fully ready to adopt Copilot. And as identified earlier in the presentation, it's not just about purchasing, assigning users and deploying licenses. Not for us anyway. At HTG, we adopt a security-led methodology in our Copilot readiness engagements that underpin the successful adoption of the technology. And I'll speak to that methodology in the slides that follow. Before moving on to that, I'll come back to the graphic that's on screen. I've left it there for a few minutes deliberately to let you digest. It shows the scope of Copilot, not just for M365, but for all of the Microsoft products in your organization. Whilst we're focusing on the modern work segment at the bottom of the graphic today, you will see the Copilot can touch all areas of your business, from data and AI to operating systems, business applications, and beyond. There's even a Copilot for IoT designed to drive efficiency specifically on the production line. So you can start to see the power and the reach of Copilot within the organization. And that's why it's important to talk about the foundational aspects of Copilot readiness. So what is Copilot readiness? In essence, it's about putting restrictions on what data people should and shouldn't see to stop malicious or unknown intent, such as searching for staff salaries, the board report, or even a colleague's personal files. Next slide, please. I want to discuss briefly the diagram on screen, which you may or may not have seen. It gives an overview of what Copilot for M365 is doing. Now, without going through the whole diagram step by step and getting technical, I just wanted to call out a few key things related to the 5 process steps shown on the bottom right-hand side of the slide. Number 1, first and foremost, none of your business data will ever leave your tenant. It won't send data to the model. Instead, it'll use the data to construct a response to the specific user prompt. Number 2, Copilot assesses the Microsoft graph. This is your context and your content. And so the graph is contextually aware of files, people, and meetings. And finally, number 3, Copilot directly integrates with Purview. So if you have things like data loss prevention, internal rules, sensitivity labels, encryption on files, or retention rules, Copilot will abide by those, as you saw in Lindsay's demo when she created a series of Facebook posts in Word. So if a user isn't allowed to see a file, or the file is encrypted and the user isn't in a group which has access, the user will not be able to use that file in a prompt or have any of the data within it used within the response. Next slide. So to understand what is being exposed, this visual covers how Copilot gathers its data from your M365 tenant. As stated in the previous slide, Copilot inherits your organization's existing M365 security, compliance, and privacy policies, and is logically isolated and protected within your own tenant, always within your control. As you can see, all the data in your Microsoft 365 tenant lives in the graph, and the semantic index on the left operates like a librarian in the library. It enables Copilot for M365 to deliver, to find and deliver relevant actionable responses to the user prompt based on the user data and the company data stored within the graph. So by design, Copilot for Microsoft 365 only generates responses based on information that users explicitly have been given permission to access. Implementing important capabilities such as those sensitivity labels and the retention labels help you apply and restrict permissions in M365 apps such as Outlook, SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. Doing these things helps ensure the semantic index for Copilot for M365 is only showing the end user the data that they should be able to see. So this slide talks about how we do it, right? So the best way to prepare yourself for Copilot is to work through what we call the security pyramid. Pyramid is based on the principles of zero trust and is a graphical representation of the journey a customer should take to protect the business and be ready for Copilot. The zero trust strategy ensures that every entry point into your network and your data, whether that be an identity or a device, is authenticated and protected, reducing the risk of security breaches. Now, zero trust, unfortunately, isn't something that you can just turn on with the flick of a switch. It is a journey, and we like to think of it as Mount Everest. Everyone wants to get to the top, but there are multiple paths, multiple base camps en route. People are at different stages of a climb, varying levels of experience, but ultimately the goal is the same: get to the top, and we treat security no differently. So our security pyramid is split into three distinct areas: zero trust, threat defense, and data protection. The Zero Trust Foundation covers your user identities and their respective access management to your tenant and services, referred to as Identity and Access Management, or IAM for short. Threat Defense is onboarding your organization into the Microsoft Defender XDR platform to proactively and reactively secure those identities and the devices. And data protection is the implementation of data security policies to protect your organization's data. At HTG, we mandate that our customers traverse up the pyramid before you can use Copilot securely. Now, that's not to say you can't use Copilot without everything I've said in place. You absolutely can, but not necessarily securely. And you are leaving your data potentially exposed to both internal and external actors. This is why I referenced pre-project expectation management right at the top of my section today. So, through the Microsoft and HTG security strategy, you will implement robust identity and access management, endpoint management, data protection policies, creating a cyber resilient and stable work environment. However, you need to ensure that you have the right licensing in place to achieve what was discussed on the previous slide. As you can see at the bottom of this slide, there are multiple prerequisite licenses for Copilot for M365 to choose from, but only a business premium and an E5 or an E3 with the relevant security add-ons will enable you to achieve Copilot readiness. The features within these licenses are designed to work together, minimize operational cost and complexity. I know from experience that many manufacturing businesses use non-Microsoft solutions for communications, for messaging apps, and many still use traditional desk phones. With Microsoft 365's comprehensive productivity stack, I would encourage you to investigate how your license not only grants access to Copilot, but also enables budget optimization by allowing you to decommission third-party tools like Zoom, Slack Premium, ensuring consolidated management and cleaner user adoption. A few slides on licensing. Won't get into the detail, but I know we've some organizations represented on the call today with users in the sub 300 category. At HTG, for customers like this, we mandate business premium. Only in this license SKU can we take you on the journey where we are committing to making you more secure. I won't go into the detail, but as you can see, the security features in the business premium compared to business standard make the premium SKU the obvious choice. And for many of you on the call, above 300 users, you can see here why we recommend the Microsoft 365 E3 with security add-ons, if not the E5 license. As mentioned previously, with these license SKUs, you can eliminate redundant solutions. You can cut licensing costs by up to 60% or more compared to a patchwork of point solutions. A recent Forrester study showed a 35% reduction in the likelihood of a data breach through adoption of conditional access, detailed and integrated security logs, and multi-factor authentication, as well as 25% time savings on managing new software through Microsoft Entra ID and Microsoft Intune. To couple with Copilot for M365, the Microsoft 365 comprehensive solution becomes a bit of an obvious choice. So in summary, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is a great tool for enhancing productivity. However, it is crucial to implement the measures to guarantee the security for you, for your business, and customers when using it. At HTG, our expertise is cloud security, cloud cybersecurity in the modern workplace. By collaborating with Microsoft and leveraging the advanced security capabilities, in addition to our extensive tooling and managed services, we can enable high-performing, secure digital workspaces for every user, no matter their location or their device. So with that, I'll thank you for your time and attention, and I'll hand back to Lindsay.
Thank you so much. So yeah, just to echo Dave, thank you so much everyone for your time today. Are there any questions in the chat or anybody that would like to pop their hand up and come off mute for anything?
We have no questions in the chat.
No worries at all. So everyone who has registered for today's session will be offered a complimentary Copilot workshop to discuss anything specific, you know, whether that's in terms of Copilot readiness, Copilot deployment, adoption, pilots, all of that good stuff, and also happy to explore any Microsoft funded options for eligible customers. We will have the recording out over the next few days, and thank you again, everybody, for your time.